Hello and welcome to this 33rd Sunday of Ordinary Time. We're drawing very close to the end of this liturgical year. The readings today are a call to do the work of the kingdom of God with the gifts that we have been given. The first reading sings the praises of the worthy wife who uses her talents to labour for good. The Gospel tells the parable of the talents and praises the servants who use their resources wisely. A talent wasn't just any old coin, it had a value of about £100 worth of silver. In this parable, the main message is the need to respond to grace by making a genuine effort through one's life. All the gifts of nature and grace which God has given us should yield a profit of some sort. It does not matter how many gifts we have received. What matters is our generosity in putting them to good use. A person's Christian calling should not lie hidden and barren. It should be outgoing, apostolic, self-sacrificing. And so Jesus tells us in the Gospel reading that God is like an investor who gives 5 talents to one servant, 2 talents to a second, and 1 talent to a third. You may be wondering what a talent is. Well, it's a weight of silver, about £80, equivalent then at that time to about 6,000 denarii, or what a common worker might expect to make if he'd worked for 20 years. A talent was an awful lot of money. The first 2 servants invest their money well. The third servant, trying to avoid his master's wrath, was provoked into burying his gift. The master says, "You could have at least put it in the bank where I could have made some interest on it." And so the story ends badly for him. Jesus is using a business principle that is still true today to make an important point. Just like we have to invest money in order to make money, as disciples, we have to invest our souls if we want to grow spiritually. We need to invest it in our relationship with Christ by deepening our prayer life. We need to invest in our discipleship, so to build up the kingdom of God in our family, in our workplace, and in the world in which we live. We can't be burying the spiritual gifts God has given us, or we could end up losing our way. I think this message is more important now than ever in the wake of everything that's going on in our world today. With so much bad news out there, are we investing ourselves right now so to the good news in our families, the workplace, or the world? It's an important question to consider because Jesus reminds us that we do not have all the time in the world to do so. When it comes to discipleship, we are invited not to put off to tomorrow what we could be doing today. We are called to participate in God's grace by building up his kingdom on earth. And this is no easy task, as we all know. However, even when we are faced with difficult times, we are still called to invest ourselves so to be good news in the world, so that people are hungry for God's love. What does that look like for us in this coming week, I wonder? We're human. We rather have even an unsatisfactory status quo, and we know that something risky, we don't want to do it. But that makes us like the last servant in the story, burying his money in the ground because it was safe there. He won't lose. And yet, in a way, he is burying himself alive. Without risk, says the Gospel, not much good can happen for anyone. We are being pushed a little hard in this Gospel story to worry less about what we might lose in life and to set our eyes on what we could win. If only we allowed ourselves to feel God's love for us. If only we could see the safety net that is actually underneath us always. Today's Gospel is not promising success in everything, but that the risk of trying to put God's gifts to work for the better than the fear of losing. So never bury a talent. Place a bet with it and see what happens and where it leads you to.